Hi everyone, I'm Skates from Explicit Tutorials, and today I'm gonna be showing you the best competitive settings and gear for Fortnite Battle Royale. Keep in mind, these settings aren't necessarily the best for your FPS. Instead, everything in this video is designed to get you the biggest advantage possible over someone who hasn't done any of this. Enjoy. This video will be split into two parts, and that is settings and gear. So starting off with the settings, we're gonna disable mouse acceleration. To do this, you want to search mouse settings, go to additional mouse options, pointer options, and make sure that enhanced pointer precision is disabled. Acceleration makes it so that the faster you flick your mouse, the more distance it travels, so it's impossible to tell where the mouse will stop, thus making your aim very inconsistent. Next, go to the Epic Games Launcher and click the gear button next to launch. Check the additional command line arguments box and type in land play. This is a new command that stops the throttling of packages. So in layman's terms, if you've ever noticed a little delay when you edit or build, that's what this command line fixes. Now that you've done that, launch Fortnite and go to settings. So first off, you have the window mode. Set this to full screen if you're playing on your native resolution, or windowed full screen if you want to play stretched. If you're wondering how to get the stretched 4x3 resolution, just go to the NVIDIA control panel and under Change Resolution, click Customize and create a new resolution. Now you want to keep the vertical lines the same and multiply them with 4x3. So 1080 times 4x3 is 1440. Set the horizontal pixels to whichever number you got and click Test. Now set that as your main resolution on your desktop and run Fortnite windowed full screen. Next, under the video settings, you want to set everything to low except view distance because that helps to spot people and buildings further away. Turn VSync and motion blur off and click apply. Moving on to the frame rate limit. You want to cap your FPS at about twice your refresh rate. So if your monitor is 60Hz, cap it at 120, etc. This will make it so you don't get a lot of frames that you won't see, because your monitor is only showing 60 frames per second anyways. So moving on into the game settings, you want to be connecting to the server with the lowest ping available. And under mouse settings, if you don't know what value to use, a good way of finding your sensitivity is by going in game and making sure that you can do a 360 turn with one swipe of your mousepad. Just place a wall, look at it, and then swipe the whole of your mousepad slowly. Adjust it until you can perfectly hit that 360 even when you swipe fast. Generally, having a lower sensitivity is better for your aim, but it also requires you to have a large mousepad, which in turn requires you to have a big desk and some money to spare, which we will cover in the gear part of this video. All of these control options are mostly useless except for auto material change and turbo building, which is a must if you want to be at least decent at building. I also like to keep auto sort consumables to right on, but that's personal preference. Targeting and scope sensitivity is pretty much a personal preference, though I like to keep them at 100. You want to turn highlights and replays off for that extra FPS, that's unless you record videos like me. Moving on to brightness, I like to keep it at the standard value as it is bright enough for my monitor. Under sound, you want to set music volume to 0 and quality to low, as it will reduce your CPU usage by a little bit. Under key bindings, the most important part is to change the build keys. Now this is mostly down to personal preference as well, but you want your build keys to be easily accessible by your fingers, so you can build as fast as possible. I personally use my mouse thumb buttons for a wall and ramp, F for floor and T for roof. Feel free to check out some pro players' key bindings and see what works for you though. A very helpful step for NVIDIA users is using more digital vibrance. You do this by going into the NVIDIA control panel and under Adjust Desktop Color Settings, set it to 100%. This will make the game look a lot more colorful and vibrant, which helps you to distinguish between colors and of course, spot enemies. It also looks a lot better in my opinion. I couldn't show the difference in my recording for some reason, but I'm sure when you try it, you'll notice a huge difference and it'll be a lot better for you. Well, that's us done for the setting part, and now we're going to the gear part of this video. Let's start off with the mouse. You want to be using a mouse with a perfect sensor. Now, I don't want to get into the details of what that means, so I'm just going to leave a list of mice with perfect sensors down in the description so you can choose one. Next, you want the mouse to fit your hand, and ideally for Fortnite, you want it to have 2 side buttons. I'll also leave a link to a mouse hand size guide so you guys can find the best one for your hand. Next, under the mouse, you want a big mouse pad. For example, I think a great mousepad is the Razer Goliathus, Zowie GSR, or SteelSeries QCK Plus. Having a big mousepad gives you the ability to lower your sensitivity, thus making you more accurate as explained earlier. The keyboard in my opinion is not that important, however, if you really want to be using the best gear, I recommend the mechanical keyboard, and a personal favorite of mine is the HyperX Alloy FPS Pro, which has the numpad cut off, making it take up significantly less space. It looks cool, and at the price of $70, it's probably the best you're gonna get. Of course, as in every other game, in Fortnite you want to be using headphones or earbuds, whichever is your preference, but under no case do you want to be using speakers. Sound is very important in Fortnite, and it means the difference between life and death a lot of times. So if anything, plug your phone's earbuds and play with those. Also, I don't want to cover the PC specs, but if you're planning on buying a PC just for Fortnite, make sure you invest more in 16GB of RAM and a decent i7 CPU as opposed to a graphics card, because Fortnite really sucks the life out of your CPU and RAM, but doesn't touch the graphics card at all. Well then, that's it for this video guys. I want to thank you all for 10,000 subscribers. It's insane how fast we reached this goal, and it's all thanks to you guys. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Stay awesome.